So now that the dust has settled with Alien Romulus, I want to rank all the Alien films in the franchise for you guys. I'm going off of direction, how creative the scripts were, as well as just how scary the films were, obviously. I hope this list doesn't come off as too conventional or expected. I want to throw some curveballs in there for you guys. And of course, these are just my opinions. You guys are free to agree or disagree and let your opinions be known in the comments. Let's just have fun with it. That's all I want to do. But yeah, let's get right into it. So coming in last place is going to be Alien vs. Predator Requiem, and one spot above that, AVP. I just want to get those two films out of the way. There's not much to speak about. These films are crap. Everyone agrees they're crap. The reason why AVP Requiem gets absolute last is because you actually can't, it's quite literally unwatchable. Like literally, you can't actually see what's going on a lot of the time. It's very bad lighting. AVP, the first one, it's one spot above just based on the virtue that you can actually see what's going on. And in my opinion, I think this Antarctica setting is interesting and gave us some interesting lore. Wasn't executed well, but you know, it was something. But both films really are just cheap B movies as far as I'm concerned. Both in terms of script and filmmaking. I hope one day, you know, we can get a good Alien versus Predator film, but I don't think that day is going to come anytime soon. Number 7 on the list is going to be Alien Covenant. I really want to like Alien Covenant. The things I like about Alien Covenant are really the direction, the gore, the creature designs, the overall horror I think was really well done on Ridley Scott's part. But besides that, Alien Covenant doesn't really have anything else to offer. Alien Covenant tries to be both a throwback film to the first ones, as well as being a sequel to Prometheus, and it kind of fails at both. It's very shallow as a throwback film, and it's a complete failure as a sequel to Prometheus that doesn't really answer any of the questions that Prometheus brought up, as well as killing off fan favorites. And on top of that, I think the cast of characters in this film were really generic and forgettable. They really did just feel like rip-off archetypes of characters we've seen before in the franchise. But yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say about Alien Covenant. Like I said, I think the creature designs, the overall horror, the gore, very frightening, well done, executed, but it's very shallow in other respects. Number 6, I want to give it to Alien Resurrection. Alien Resurrection, it's a bizarre film, not for the faint of heart. It's very goofy, in my opinion, too goofy, I think, in terms of script and art direction. But it's a double-edged sword because it's so goofy that it actually becomes very interesting and memorable. Director Jean-Pierre, I think, really puts a lot of his personality and style into this film, for better or worse. And because of that, this film is just really out there and tries to do something very different in terms of visuals and script. It's things that you just wouldn't expect from the Alien franchise. And in the end, I didn't like the movie. The execution wasn't there for me. But by God, because this film is so out there, is so different, so ambitious, I have to respect it at least. I'll always give credit for films that at least try to do something different rather than trying to do the same old, same old. Number 5, Alien 3. Yeah, Alien 3, I think it's a good film, not a great film. I don't care for the pacing of this movie. I especially don't care for how they decide to end Ripley's story in this film. But what I do love about this film is David Fincher's direction. I think he really creates this bleak world through both script and mise-en-scène. Such bleakness and darkness that I feel like hasn't really been captured since the first film, and I don't think any other film has come close to that. I think the setting is really interesting, this planet prison, and the cast of characters, these prisoners, and how they are interwoven into the story, I thought was also really well done. Like I said, not a great film, but it's a good film. And I think it's worthy of respect in a viewing for sure. And I think number 5 is a suitable place on this list. Number 4, Prometheus. I feel like I'm in the minority of Alien fans who actually like Prometheus. I see Prometheus get a lot of hate online, and I don't understand why, but I really do like this movie because just of how Lovecraftian this film goes. It's practically an adaptation of At the Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft, but in the future setting, which, you know, gives us a really deep sense of existential dread, especially through the art direction of this film. I think the art direction in this film is very strong. and the way the engineers are depicted and the way the mythos is built visually. The cast is really memorable, both the protagonists and the antagonists. However, the script though is messy. I feel like the script tries to be mysterious for the sake of being mysterious, to the point where it gets frustratingly confusing, to the point that the film feels like it's not even adhering to the consistency of the rules the film sets up for itself. And you're kind of left with more questions than answers. But having said that, I still like the film. I rewatch it from time to time. I don't think it's like an amazing film, but I think it's really well made, well directed, and really great at building a mythos through interesting visuals that are very alien and Lovecraftian. Okay, number three, we have Alien Romulus. I love Alien Romulus. I think it has little to no flaws. I feel like Alien Romulus kind of does the impossible, especially in this day and age, where it's kind of being a throwback film, but at the same time giving us a very fresh story and a set of fresh, compelling characters that really gives us a unique creative story and themes. Themes of the third world and trying to escape from the third world. And with that, I think Alien Romulus delivers the most insane visual horror in the franchise by far. I don't think it's close, actually. Another thing I like about Alien Romulus too is it really strikes a perfect balance between Alien and Aliens in terms of tone, with Alien, being more of a slow burn, atmospheric horror. Is definitely more action oriented. I think Alien Romulus really pleases fans on both sides of the aisles, and I think that was also impressive. Really challenging to do, but I think Alien Romulus totally did it. It's the best sequel in the Alien franchise, besides Aliens, by a wide margin, and it doesn't even come close. And I do think Alien Romulus deserves to be in the same room as Alien and Aliens. So let's get to number two. I think I'm going to piss a lot of people off with number two because there's a war going on online of which is best, Alien or Aliens. But yeah, let's just rip the band-aid off. Number two is going to be Alien. So before people get mad at me, let's go into why I do love Alien and why I do think it is a very iconic, classic masterpiece of a film. It's an amazing Lovecraftian slasher film that really gives us a sense of dread and bleakness of space, of the universe, that can feel so overwhelmingly big that it makes you feel insignificant. I think that's what Alien does best. And especially with the way they portray the xenomorph creature. The xenomorph creature in Alien really is depicted as this perfect organism, as some characters call it, that has evolved over millions, if not hundreds of millions of years, with such ancient origins that it just begs the mystery of what else could exist out there in space. And that thought is scary, the way the film presents it. On top of that, I think Alien really has amazing cinematic language that complements that scary sense of mystery in space, as well as isolation and really unsettling themes of sexual assault through the creature design and other mise en scène elements. I guess my only gripe with this film, it's not really a gripe, I can overlook it, is that the characters, they're very one-dimensional. On script, they are like archetypes or just going through the motions of the story like you would in any other slasher film. But what really elevates those characters are the performances. So the performances in this film are amazing. But without those performances, I think the characters would just be seen as very plain vanilla as they really are on paper. Now let's get into number one, Aliens. Yeah, I think Aliens is the best one in the franchise. I'm in that camp for sure, but let me explain why. Firstly, I think Aliens characters feel way more fleshed out, more three-dimensional, especially Ripley. Ripley actually really has a character arc and intrinsic motivations that really deal with motherhood as well as survivor's guilt. And I think those made for interesting themes in the story, especially, mirroring the alien queen. In my opinion, I think also Aliens is more scary. And let me explain why. In my opinion, I think the idea of this very high-tech military group with all the firepower they have can still be outnumbered and cornered and killed off by these creatures is way more really invokes more sense of dread than I think the first film. The scenario in Aliens just feels more hopeless because it's like, yeah, you can have all this firepower and it ain't going to do anything. So yes, while it is very action oriented in terms of the tempo and the visuals, I think the scenario is still more frightening actually. To summarize, I think Aliens is visually beautiful and just masterful visual storytelling. And overall, I feel like Aliens just has more depth than Alien in both terms of script and filmmaking. Well, that's just my opinion, of course. Yeah, that's my list. Let me know in the comments whether you guys agree or disagree. Well, I want to know what your guys' favorite Alien film is, or maybe which one you guys feel is underrated. Regardless, yeah, let me know in the comments. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.